is Jody Evans. I can't sleep. 2 hours ago, I was so tired and I was so ready for bed. And I went to bed and I couldn't fall asleep. And after 2 hours, I gave up and got out of bed. And it occurred to me that I just needed to make a video. I realized recently that I haven't been doing this very much. And whenever I feel kind of stuck, I would just make videos for myself, whether I posted them anywhere or not, and it would get me unstuck. And so the other day I started making videos again for myself and watching them back, and already the energy has shifted and started to move through me more, and I can feel the change. God, I sound like I'm sick or something. I was thinking tonight about the last 3 years of my life. We unexpectedly ended up at a campfire tonight with our neighbors here at the campground. It was really fun. And we really enjoyed it. And I told a story that I haven't told in a really long time about what was happening in my life when I made my decision to leave my corporate career and take my retirement and buy an RV. And I was just laying in bed, not sleeping, thinking about how I told the story and it didn't hurt. I told the story of the hardest day in my life and I was okay. And I just was thinking about how far I've come in 3 years and how appropriate it feels right now to take inventory. I've come very, very far in this time. And I feel like a chapter is closing and I'm going into a new one. And I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what the future looks like. The world is getting weird. I mean, heck, every time I look in the mirror or make a video, I have all this hair now. I haven't had hair in 20 years. All of a sudden I have hair. It's like, who is this girl? It's just weird. I don't know. There's so much on my mind. And before I hit record, I just had all these ideas of what I wanted to talk about. And then now I'm sitting here making a video like the old days. And I'm just like, oh no. So I will just say right now, I have no idea if I'm going to post this anywhere or not, or if I'm going to end up deleting it the minute I'm done. I have no idea if I have a message to convey. I just know that I'm starting to feel like myself more than I have all year. For the first time in a really long time, I feel very connected to the part of me that started this journey, that made the first video in 2017. I've had so much change and so much growth. And 2020 has been a roller coaster of what the hell? Just like everybody else. But I've had so much good and so much amazingness, and then things got really weird. Just weird. And I just kind of cocooned and stepped back to take inventory and just kind of see, like, what do I feel? What am I thinking? What's going on? Where am I at? And all I can say is I'm in a stage of transition. I have no idea what I'm going to, but I know what I've completed. The lesson that came up for me in the last month was, maybe a little more than a month ago, was own your authority. You know who you are. You know what you've done. You know how far you've come. You know what you want to do moving forward. Own your authority. Trust yourself because you've proven you can. And just stand with your head held high and your shoulders back and own your authority. And then the next one that came through right after that was direct your boundary. We had a few different experiences that showed us that we don't have good boundaries in place, and just in all different things, not anything specific, all over our life, whether it be boundaries with other humans, boundaries with how much social media, boundaries with how far. I think some of it too is like we live and work in the same place, and Wyatt pointed out to me that I have a life or death commitment to work, because my whole life, work was my escape from everything else that was wrong in my life. And so I just curated over my entire life. Work was everything, and I had to put everything into work. And it's important to have a healthy respect for the importance of, your job. If you're working for someone else, it's important to have a healthy, responsibility to your career or your job, whatever you're answering to someone else for. But I had such an unhealthy, oh my God, work is everything, to the point that I wasn't even taking care of myself all those years. I wasn't having a healthy balance, work-life balance. And the interesting thing is, now that I live where I work, I've had to learn to create inherent boundaries, woven into my life. Okay, this is work. This is living at the campground. This is work, and that's my boss. And then over here, that's my friends, because we're neighbors and we share a home location. And, and I've had to learn to direct those boundaries. I've had to learn with my friends to direct those boundaries, with visitors that come stay at our home, direct those boundaries, things like that. It's just been this ongoing, oh, okay. And it ties right in with own your authority, because in order to direct your boundaries, you have to know who you are, what you stand for, what is important and what is not. You have to own your authority and your personal unit in order to know where your boundaries are, so that you can direct them. It really made a lot of sense. And so I've just been really working with that, letting that kind of, I don't know, I guess evolve over the last several weeks. And it's been really interesting. I can tell I'm totally different than I was when I started this, 3 years ago. And it's just really interesting to see. It's like steps, it's like I'm going up a staircase. And if you think of a staircase, and how, like, if there's a wall here and there's a staircase, the bottom is longer, and then the next one's a little shorter, and the next one's a little shorter. And what I'm finding throughout life is each step you're revisiting, but now you're fine-tuning more. You're refining, you're refining, you're refining. And even though it seems like a lot of the same things come up again, and you're like, didn't I handle that already? No, it's not that you didn't handle it. It's that now you're new, you're evolved, you're growing, you're learning, you're healing. And now you're on the next step, and you're refining. How does this idea in your life? And 2020 has been such a great year for that. Because, for example, in 2017, I bought my first RV, and I went, I got an RV, and we did all this stuff. And then we went, whoa. 2018, it was like, oh my God, whoa, just whoa, wait a minute. And then in 2019, it was the next step up, and it was like, okay, now I'm going to go and be with the RV by myself and see how that feels. And then I came home in the winter after traveling after the season, and it's just been another refine. And then Wyatt and I got back together, and then it was 2020, and it was crazy, and we started outgrowing the trailer, and we started busting out at the seams, and the roof leaked, and we had tarps on it for 2 months, and it was like, oh my God, we've got to replace this and get a bigger home that can fit an artist and an herbalist, not just Wyatt and Jody. And so that's what we did. And now we had to start all over again with a whole new home and a whole new RV and learning a whole new way of life and getting used to each other in a whole new space and how are we going to do this and how are we going to do that. And then we got to see through the process of going into the new home how much we had each evolved individually and as a couple and how we approach things. A new setting, a new way of life, finding a whole new, oh, now we have this space. Now we're doing this. Well, if you like to do that, but I prefer to live this way, how do we mesh those and make them work in this new space and refine, 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 another step up, another step up. It's just been such a neat year. And I don't know, so much, so many things I could talk about. We're ready for a dog. It's been over a year since we lost Annie, and our hearts are healed enough to have room. There's Annie's leash in a place of honor right out in the middle of the trailer. And we're ready for a new dog, and we're ready to open our hearts and let a little furry one in. This year has been very, very busy at the campground. Last year I came here and I started working, and this is a gorgeous place. It is really well run. The owners really care and are really involved in the operation from every angle, and they have a thriving business, right? But last year, it was just a normal camp season, and there were ebbs and flows, and there were times when it was busier, and times when it was more like, midweek, a little slower, busier on the weekends. June and July was busy all the time. October was really busy for the leaves and everything, but it had a rhythm to it, and there were days that were really busy, and there were days I came home, I relaxed, I made art. This season in 2020 has been insane. Super busy every single day since we opened May 15th. And so that kind of caught us off guard, and it's great and it's wonderful that the business is thriving, because that means they'll be here and I'll have a place to live for a little longer. But oh my God, it has been so busy. And Wyatt started working here and we both love it. Oh my God, we love it so much. But we didn't expect this year to get so busy that we're exhausted. Some days we come home and we just can't even work on our art and our herbalism. We're just like so tired. And we feel like we can't catch up with ourselves. And it's like, oh. And so now, like, we're approaching the busiest month of the year. October, it's on, right? We're in it now. It's the 5th already. We're already in it. And we're just like counting down. It's 27 days till November 1st. I started the countdown today because we're just like, oh my God. And my son, Alex, in Indiana, gets married on the 17th in 12 days. And so we're like changing our days off to make everything work so we can take 3 days off to go to the wedding, and then we're going to come back, and then some of the other workers are already going to have to leave while the weekend we're gone. They're going to leave to go to their next job. And so we're going to come back from this trip and have like 13 more days of work or 12 days of work that are going to be like packed busy, because we're going to be short employees. And also because it's the last 2 weeks of the season, we're going to work as much as we can while we still can. So we're just going to work like crazy. It's like October is like, and then all of a sudden November 1st will be closed, and will be like 5 months the campground won't be open. And so we'll be able to sleep, we'll be able to, I'll make art. I have so many art ideas. Oh my God, I have so many art ideas. And I've been saving a lot of stuff to make some really cool, like, assemblage, mixed media stuff. I'm looking at some of it across the room right now, and I'm like, oh, can't wait. So yeah, it's just been a really weird year. And I'm in the cocoon. I'm being transitioned. I can feel it. I had, over the last several days, I've seen 111, 333, 444, 999, 777, like triple numbers have been a thing. For 3 or 4 days, I have seen them every hour. Like 2 days ago, it was every hour I saw a triple number somewhere, whether it be playing a game on my phone at night when we're sitting here watching something while he's making dinner, and I'm playing a game on my phone and I'm at this level, and then another thing I'm on this, and then an email comes in or something with the number at work. I'm adding numbers, and like triple digits have been everywhere. And I'm like, all right, I get it. What are you trying to tell me? You know, something is going on. I've had these very weird, I don't know what to call them, episodes, I guess, for about a month, 6 weeks now. I've been feeling, we thought it was a blood sugar thing, and one of my friends sent me a blood sugar tester so that in case it was like I was getting diabetes or something. I was getting this very weird, like, all of a sudden I'll just get this overwhelming, like, sense of I'm not in my body, I'm in my body. I can't even explain it. It's like my awareness is at a different level or something. And at one point it happened, and I was standing in the kitchen, and I looked at Wyatt and literally lost words. Like, I just lost all sense of speech. And I was thinking in my head, and I could not say what I wanted to say. But it wasn't like a TIA. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a little stroke. But I literally lost words and could not speak. And it was so, so weird. I don't know. I just know something is happening. I don't know what, but some kind of transformation is happening that I don't even understand. And I feel like I'm being prepared for something. I have had a lot of weird dreams. I've had a lot of new awarenesses and insights. And I've always been very, very empathic, which I didn't even understand until 2014. But apparently my whole life I've been incredibly empathic. Like, I pick up energy. I can feel and sense energy in people, in things, in places. And there's like, Wyatt and I used to have fights about this in 2018 because he would say, I'm fine, but I would feel his energy screaming. And I would be like, you're not, you're yelling at me. He's like, I'm not yelling at you. What are you talking about? He'd be upset, or we'd be in a disagreement about something, and I would feel his energy just like screaming at me. So then I would start yelling at him, and he'd be like, why are you yelling at me? Because I would misread the energy. He wouldn't even be mad at me necessarily. So he could have read something on Facebook and got just triggered and pissed and like, "Argh." But it's inside, he's like managing it, whatever, but I'm feeling it across the room and thinking he's yelling at me. Like, I'm that energy sensitive. And there's been times at this campground where I have felt other people's energy, and not so deeply that I can't tell if it's mine or someone else's, and then it weirds me out in my head. Why am I feeling this way? What's going on? And that has taken a lot of, it's taken a lot of understanding and awareness this year to really manage that and learn to understand it and learn how to deal with it and learn to go, that's not mine. I'm fine. My house is fine. We're fine. Work's fine. Family's fine. Everybody's fine. That's not my screwed up energy. I know it sounds really weird if you're not familiar with empathic and metaphysical stuff. It's a thing. It's just a thing. And that's just been a whole nother huge piece in the last few months of like feeling energy, and I don't know. I'm just changing a lot, and I'm getting really in tune with the other parts of me that aren't physical and emotional and intellectual. And I don't know, I guess some people would call it spiritual. I don't think of it as spiritual. I think it is part of your biology or chemistry, or because it's all interconnected. And so, yes, I've just been having these weird episodes, and I've had this underlying feeling that it's not a physical problem in my body, but it's coming through sometimes as physical. But every time I check my blood sugar, that's fine. And that's the closest thing I could compare it to, is like a feeling of like if you haven't eaten in a long time and your blood sugar drops and you get shaky and start getting irritable and like, I need to eat, like the Snickers commercials. That's the closest thing I could compare it to. But every time I check my blood sugar, it's totally normal, like right in the middle of absolutely normal range. So I'm like, okay, it's not that. I don't know what's going on. But I don't know. I've been rambling for like 20 minutes. I just needed to let all this out. I guess I'm just going to watch it back. I'm having coffee at 2:30 in the morning because I can. Because I realized tonight when I was laying there in bed and I couldn't sleep, what got me here, what got me this far, what got me in such a great place in my life where I feel happy and peaceful and stable and not worried about anything, is I followed my heart, and when I wanted a cup of coffee, I didn't worry about what time it was. I had a cup of coffee. And when I wanted to go to bed, I just went to bed. And when I wanted to make art, I made art. And the more I just did what felt good in the moment, the more everything unfolded absolutely beautifully and magical things showed up. And so I got out of bed and I started the coffee maker. And I thought, you know what? I don't care if it's 2:30 in the morning. This is what got me here. And this is where I'm going to stay. Everything is fine in this moment.